Hello there, friends. It's Nate Gustafson here. Thank you so much for joining me. Today, I'm so thrilled to be able to be with you to share with you part one in a series of chats and training that I really hope will encourage you to take a deeper dive into exploring yourself, exploring your world, exploring what makes you tick and how you are wired, and how by investigating more into our mind and our spirit and our emotions and our inner wiring, looking at our personality, how if we really dig into that, if we really explore who we are and why we are and what we are, then the benefits of that really overflow into your relationships. They overflow into a better understanding of your family, of your work life, of your service, of your care for others who are in a time of trouble. And so I want to share with you today about the road back to you, an Enneagram journey towards self-discovery. I'm going to share my screen here and give you a little bit of background information. Here we go. The Road Back to You, The Journey to Self-Discovery by Ian Morgan Cron and Suzanne Stabile. Like I said, this is part one in a series on this book. I hope that you will check the book out, that you'll get yourself a copy, that you'll learn and grow as a person who takes this seriously, who takes that discovering more about yourself, the wiring that's underneath the hood of your heart and soul, that has great benefit for everything that you do in this world. The Road Back to You. It's about a personality typing system. The Enneagram is an ancient personality typing system. It helps people understand who they are and what makes them tick. Pretty simple. If I were to ask you, what are two words that help describe who you are? Just two simple words. What words would you choose? Think about that for a second. If you had two words to describe your personality, the way you're wired, the way you show up and appear in this world, what two words would you choose? For me, I think I would maybe choose the words golden retriever. Now, why would I say that? Well, first of all, if you know anything about myself and my family, we love dogs. We have 3 dogs in our house, and maybe you have multiple pets, or maybe you hate pets. But if you've ever been around a golden retriever, all they want is just your love and your affection and your attention. They'll do anything to make you happy. They'll roll over, they'll play fetch, they'll smile, they'll go for long walks, they'll sit by your side and keep you company when you're sad. And really, I found that after learning more about myself and learning more about the way I've been wired in my 40 plus years on this earth, I really feel like if I had an animal spirit, you hear some people talk about that, it could be a golden retriever. Some people are wired to be take charge, take the bull by the horns. Some people are literally a bull in a china shop. But for me, I would say the golden retriever sure seems to fit. And the more and more I've investigated and learned about myself and learned kind of what makes me tick, I've come to realize that that really suits who I am, and that fits across many different personality systems. So what personality tests have you taken? Maybe you've taken the DISC, D-I-S-C test. Maybe you've taken a favorite of mine, the lion, otter, golden retriever, beaver test. Maybe you've taken the Myers-Briggs or the Strongs or the Strengths Finder. There's hundreds of different tests out there that all help you kind of unpack who you are and what makes you tick. But really, maybe you're still a bit skeptical. Why, should I even take a journey towards self-discovery? Well, first reason is most of us just kind of operate through life as if we're asleep and on autopilot. And if you're just operating on autopilot, it's like the new self-driving cars that they're trying to come up with. You're running into curbs, you're flattening, things in the middle of the road, and heaven forbid that self-driving car wouldn't notice the big red stoplight, and you could go swerving into traffic and be involved in a very serious collision. Getting to know more about yourself helps you get out of your own way And it helps you see where are the landmines. If you're anything like me, it seems like I'm always landing on something that blows up. It could be saying the wrong thing. It could be defaulting to an autopilot mode where I should have been on a go get 'em mode and not be on this kind of asleep at the wheel autopilot. And ultimately, the reason why I want to encourage you to go on a self-discovery journey, why I want you to check out this book, The Road Back to You, why I want you to dive deeper into a personality typing system like the Enneagram, is because the more you can discover about yourself, your heart and your soul, it will increase your compassion and boost your empathy. And isn't that what we all need in this world? It'll help you in your job. It'll help you in relating to your children, your wife, your husband. It'll help you get along better with your teammates in a sports team. Because for most of us, we really operate as if we're kind of wearing a mask, like we're, in perpetual Halloween, or we've, are always on our way to a masquerade ball, and we can't really show our true colors, or if we do happen to show our true colors, it just petrifies us and freezes us up because we're afraid that we won't be accepted. Truly, if we understand what a personality is, it's truly what we put in front of ourselves to show the world. We all, whether we realize it or not, walk around with some sort of image or some sort of identity that we show the world. And sometimes that identity is very close to our true self. And that's the goal, to have our true self and our identity and our personality fully integrated. But sometimes we're much more prone to be wearing a mask and hiding behind that. In the book, Ian Morgan Cron and Suzanne Stabile talk about how a personality, ironically, is derived from the Greek word for mask, or a persona, which reflects our tendency to confuse the masks we wear with our true selves. If we keep a mask in front of ourselves, and that's what we see even when we look in the mirror, we can lose sight of our true selves. We can lose sight of what we really look like. Because if we keep the personality, if we keep the mask in front of us, it's no longer that we have a personality. Our personality has a hold of us. And as we go forward, I want to help you see that the reason for gaining this self-discovery and the reason for checking out this ancient personality system is because I want you to be truly integrated. I want you to be the best you that you can possibly be. You are unique. You are special. You have gifts and abilities and mind-blowing talents and graces that need to be brought out into this world, especially to help people, especially to make an impact. And a system, any system, whether it's Myers-Briggs, whether it's StrengthsFinders, whether it's the Strongs or the DISC or the ancient temperaments, like the melancholy folks, or the ancient Greek typology that went in that direction. All of those are basically a low-grade image. They're not going to give you the HD, 4K, crystal clear image of yourself. No tool is. No tool is perfect. No one system is the end-all, be-all. Even the system that I'm bringing to your attention today, the Enneagram, it has its shortcomings. Nothing's perfect, but I believe that this is one approach that can really get to the whole person. And as you take a look at this symbol, you see the circle with the 9 numbers around it, and then this kind of funny looking 9-shaped object in the center of it. The 9 numbers around the circle each illustrate a different but interconnected personality type. And you'll see that each number, or each personality, I'm going to circle the 9 here, it has arrows that connect it to 2 other numbers. So the 9 is connected to the 3 and the 6. The 5 is connected to the 8 and the 7. The 4 is connected to the 2 and the 1. The 1 is connected to the 4 and the 7, and so on. You can see each number is connected to 2 other numbers by arrows, and then it's right next door neighbors to 2 other numbers. That's why each personality is so unique, because based upon so many different factors, Each little bit is like a secret ingredient that comes in and gets mixed up and baked in us, and it comes out as a unique and special person, which is you, which is me. So the Enneagram has ancient roots, but it has a modern application. It's based upon these 9 personality types, and then each personality type draws from 4 other personality types. And even beyond that, more deeply that you dive into the Enneagram, you can realize that just the sky is the limit to how much this can reveal about your inner workings, your inner motivations. Cron and Stabile give these names to each of the numbers. As you go around the circle, you can read the different names of the different personality types. And it's not about what you do. It's not that a number 5 is like the Sherlock Holmes type of person, that they're always investigating. They're not always going to be your crime scene investigators. They're not always going to be your cold case detectives. That's just a label, and every label, again, is imperfect. Maybe you're like me and you don't like labels. I took a personality test one time in college, and it labeled me a perfectionist. And I was like, that's not the perfect number. That's not the perfect label for me. I am not a perfectionist. And I was like, oh, I kind of got upset wanting the perfect label for me, even though I don't like to be labeled. So take these with a grain of salt. They're not meant to be a permanent stamp on your identity, but they're meant to give you an overarching, just kind of descriptor, a word picture for what each of these personalities is like. And to get into a little bit more technical detail, the numbers on either side of your personality number. So if you took a dive into this book, and at the end of it, you read up on each of these numbers, and you read about their inner motivations, the inner workings of this personality, you'd have a pretty good guess, maybe between 1 or 2 numbers that really seem to ring true for you. And that's a great place to start. And even more so, you can start to see, oh, how am I influenced by the wing numbers? Kind of like a wingman, kind of like in Top Gun, Maverick had Goose as his wingman. And so for the 8, the 9 and the 7 are the wings. For the 1, the 9 and the 2 are the wings. The 4 has the 3 and the 5. So the wing numbers are those numbers directly on either side of that personality. They just add flavor to the personality. Each of us will lean in a certain direction. A very healthy, a very whole person, a very well-balanced, well-rounded person, you'll see kind of draws from both sides of their equation, so to speak, as well as their arrows. And that's how we act differently when we're either feeling safe and secure or stressed and tired. I don't know about you, but I know my personality can shift and change depending on what I ate and if I had a good night worth of sleep. And so each of us, when we're under stress, will have certain negative characteristics that get kind of stirred up and brought out. And sometimes that's because in our personality type here, we see that we draw from the negative types of other personalities. When we're under stress, just as we gain, we pick up wonderful pieces of influence from personalities that are there to shape us. So I'll just say for me, I've found myself to really relate to this number 9 here, which is known as the peacemaker. And in my view, that fits with that golden retriever I shared earlier. When I am stressed, I am like this arrow going away from me to the 6. The 6 is known as the loyalist, but they can also, in their worst days and in their less secure and their more empty state of being, they can be a very negative Nelly. And I know for me, when I'm stressed and when I'm burned out and when I'm space cadet head, which is very much a part of my wiring, I can just jump to the worst conclusions in an instant. It doesn't take me long. 0 to 60 in negativity in 0.5 of a second. That's part of that negative trait that I'm picking up from this related number, this related characteristic. And yet when I'm stronger, when I'm well rested, when I'm refueled, when I'm spiritually in tune and aligned in my spiritual connection to God, I feel like the 3 really comes out strong. That's like a performer. That's like a really strong, in charge, confident, sometimes might be overconfident. Sometimes may step too far forward in my confidence, but that's a trait that comes out from that. So the arrows pointing away from your number are the characteristics that we pick up negatively when we're stressed. The arrows that point towards our number are what we get when we're in a safe, secure, well-rested, healthy place and mind. So I would encourage you, pick up this book, The Road Back to You, A Journey of Self-Discovery, using this tool, the Enneagram. It's very multi-layered, multifaceted. You can't just kind of breeze through it in one reading and grab it all at once. But I'd encourage you, slowly but surely, pick it up, familiarize yourself with the basic descriptions of each of the numbers, each of the personality types, and then read up on these personality types. Read up on what it looks like for a perfectionist type of person when they're very healthy versus when they're just kind of average versus when they're very depleted and in a negative state of energy, negative state of mind, versus a 5 versus a 6 versus an 8. 8 is known also as a challenger. This is that bull in the china shop kind of a person. If you've ever known a person who is just strong, opinionated, wants to debate, wants to argue, not because they want to always prove someone wrong, but that's how they get energized. That's how they solve a problem, is when there's a healthy debate back and forth, where there's like a give and a take, and they want to be challenged. They want you to stand up to them, and they want you to challenge back as they challenge forward with you. So each of these numbers interplays in unique and different ways, and you might be surprised at some of the people that are thought to be that personality type. Now, it's not like each of these people were interviewed. It's not like Ian Morgan Cron could go back in time and interview Martin Luther King Jr., or it's not like these famous actors have been interviewed and said, now what personality type are you on the Enneagram? It's just a hunch. It's just an example to give some thought to what it could be like from what we know about this person. So I'd encourage you, dive in, take the challenge, get underneath the hood of your heart and soul and start to discover what makes you, you, so that you can grow in your empathy and your compassion. You can grow in your understanding, a healthy sense of yourself, a healthy self-awareness, understanding yourself in light of all these different influences that play a part of who you are. It's kind of like that brand new technology in new cars. It's called lane recognition warning. And so if you're about to swerve into the next lane, there'll be like a warning, the handle, your steering wheel will vibrate. It's to kind of wake you up and get you off of autopilot so you don't swerve and cause an accident. That's what self-discovery, that's what self-awareness does, is it helps you stay in your lane. It helps you be the best you that you can possibly be. Be who God made you to be. Draw upon your mind and your body and your spirit to be able to be out there as an agent of hope in this very hopeless and hurting world where so many people are hiding behind the mask and not really integrating their whole and beautiful self. So dive in. This is part 1. I'll be doing multiple parts in a series of encouraging you to get on this journey of self-discovery. Please send me a message if you have questions or comments or concerns. If you're starting to read the book and you want to do a chat about it, let me know. I'd love to chat more about it with you. So thank you again for joining me. Today, the goal again is to help you thrive, help you dive into this journey of self-discovery so that we can thrive together in our goal to be agents of hope that are enriching lives when it matters most. So start reading The Road Back to You. That's your homework for today. Start to discover the type that you identify with. Remember, there's no right or wrong type. It's basically who you are when you're healthy or unhealthy, when you're secure or stressed, and then get some feedback. Share this, share what you're learning with those who know you best. Ask them what they would say your personality is most like when you're under pressure or when you're in a safe and secure environment. So thank you again for joining me today. Thank you for taking this adventure on part 1 of The Road Back to You, The Journey to Self-Discovery by Ian Morgan Cron and Suzanne Stabile.